Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Idaho, I believe, Joey.
Haley, Idaho.
No Chill Prano.
How's it going, Andrew?
It's good, man.
All right. Good talk. Good talk.
I'm taking some L's today after the game last night, I feel.
I mean, the Ruther curse is undefeated, unbelievable. It's taking things that we've never seen to new heights. Seattle Seahawks had a turnover-less playoffs.
Yeah, amazing.
Didn't have a turnover in the playoffs.
I know.
Ruther, for the entirety of I just don't trust Sam Darnold.
He proved me wrong.
Turns the ball over a lot. Listen, everybody in the history of Sam Darnold's existence has been proven wrong. The Jets were proven wrong. The Vikings were proven wrong. The Panthers were proven wrong. The 49ers were proven wrong. His parents were proven wrong. Everybody's proven wrong.
Well, you know.
And also, before we dive into that, it's not like he played great.
No, that's the thing. I was gonna say, like the D, there were so many close ones. But unlike his counterpart in Drake May,
and that's what we really have to do.
He didn't turn the ball over.
Let's just make one thing clear. And Drake May is going to take a lot of heat for how he played in the Super Bowl, and the offensive line didn't play well. And they just didn't play well as a team generally. If Sam Darnold had come out there yesterday and had the Drake May game, it's all we'd be talking about. It's all anybody would be talking about. Sam Darnold, blah, 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 blah. I mean, Drake May had the game essentially that everybody who wanted to hate on Sam Darnold was predicting and more. He played terrible. I tweeted it last night. Matthew Stafford voters must just be like, told ya. And then you've got, the people like myself that, said it's a schedule. Schedule wasn't, tough. What'd they beat with the Jarrett Stidham game? 3. I think they had 3 wins from the regular season and playoffs against teams over 500. And we talked about it going into I think it was the AFC Championship game. Is there any such thing as a fraudulent Super Bowl champion? And I said, there's no such thing as a fraudulent Super Bowl champion, but there are fraudulent Super Bowl participants, and the Patriots sure look like one.
I actually don't agree that they're fraudulent participants. Look, I think they went in. I think a few things. Well, one, I think we were almost blinded by those last 2 Rams games. At least I was. And how good Stafford and that crew and McVay can put up points. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, the Patriots will be able to put up some points. But then you go to Shanahan. I don't know if I think he said before the Super Bowl, somebody asked him about like their D, and he goes, I haven't scored a touchdown the last 2 times I played them. Why are you asking me? Just saying like how good their D is. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So my point of bringing that up is like, I think I fell into that trap of like, oh, the Rams and them had like a back and forth the last 2 games. But then again, I'm like not looking at those last 2 Niners games or looking at what they're doing in the playoffs. Excuse me. or against other teams, I should say. Like that D is really good. Like we knew that and they were number one in points allowed, but like, and by the way, this is not me making excuses for the Patriots. I'm just saying like that D. I mean, let's call it what it is. Like that game, they didn't give up a touchdown to the fourth quarter. It's not like the Patriots D was playing bad.
What I was going to say about their defense, which is their defense was the best in football, number one ranked D in football this year. And then at the same time, everybody went into this game saying they're not the 85 Bears, they're not the Legion of Boom, they're not the 2000 Ravens, which I think is true. But I think that defense is going to be more like that next season. And when we look back at this as a whole, we're going to be like, wow, that defense maybe was like one of those. Like they didn't put up those kind of defensive numbers this year, but you want to talk about peaking at the right time. And then, you have to critique the Patriots and their offense a little bit, though. There was a lot of opportunities there that were missed.
100%, and that's on Drake May. He missed a lot of throws. He was rushing throws, especially in the first half, with opportunities missed. Because again, right? It's 3 field goals in the first half, so it's not like Vrabel wisely, was playing the field position, playing the hey, man. Like we haven't given up touchdowns playing that game. Like you said, it's not like Sam Darnold lit it up, and that's why I still say this. Especially, I still say this. Like I don't hate what the Vikings did. I know Vikings fans are like, you're not. I don't think that's a crazy take. Again, for what we had seen Darnold do, again, based on the numbers, the math, on a rookie QB deal. Like I don't hate what the Vikings did, but credit to Sam Darnold, like you said. I believe,
again, Vikings fans. I don't even know how Vikings fans feel about it right now. Like I'm not tapped into Vikings fans. We're beyond the years where Viking fans were sending me their every, waking moment of emotions because they loved Kirk Cousins so much. But I'll repeat, not having anything to do with Sam Darnold, but I think the Vikings made the right decision because they're the Vikings, and I don't think that they were ready to win a Super Bowl, and I don't think the quarterback was the difference. And I'm not sure they're ready to win the Super Bowl in the next couple seasons, and I don't think the quarterback is the difference. So again, whatever. I guess the, argument for that would be Sam Darnold was relatively cheap, like relatively.
Well, not just Darnold. They're the first team. The Seahawks are the first team to ever go an entire postseason without a turnover.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like
the Ruther curse is unbelievable. Like, what can it do at this point?
I just kept thinking it was going to happen last night, and again, there were some close ones, but back to the Seahawks D. I mean, they just get after it, and across the board, they're really, really good. And it just makes it so hard to do anything offensively when they don't give you shit. And a 4-man rush, they don't have to bring the blitz packages. You know how the game played out, it was real interesting. In my head, I kept saying, okay, so who's going to win this MVP? Right? Because you can't give it to Darnold. And I was like, Kenneth Walker has had a nice game, but he doesn't have a touchdown. And then the kicker hasn't missed. And as the game kept playing out, I was like, are they going to give it to the kicker? Like, and then obviously they scored a touchdown on defense. And then I was like, okay, is somebody on defense going to get it? That to me has been one of, like, I don't know. Last night was one of the more interesting MVPs.
It was pretty much what it was to me was, it was Kenneth Walker I thought it was pretty much him, kind of early-ish in the game, like as far as I would say, like almost from halftime on, unless something happened that like drastically changed the thing. Like Julian Love got an interception. I was like, oh, what if he grabs another one? You know, what if he picks up a fumble? What if he whatever? The kicker, I don't think we're going to see a day. You know, people say they never give it to a running back. They never get to the receiver. I don't think they're giving it to the kicker.
I'm not saying the kicker deserved it because I think his long was 41. I mean, but it's tough to make 5 field goals. I think it was a record for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. It's tough. It's a pressure-packed situation, every kick.
I mean, was there any point where we thought about giving it to the collection of people who were dressed as Bushes in the Bad Bunny halftime show?
I still haven't seen it.
What?
Let's put my kids to bed, dude.
All right. First of all, what you need to know is that there was a whole thing where you can only bring 25 carts of equipment out to the field. Like there's a, you know, for the field, there's a limit of what you can roll out there. And so he made like sugarcane fields. There's an entire cane of sugarcane field on the field. Turns out those were all people in costumes as Bushes. so that they didn't have to like put them on carts and roll them out. All those people walked out there and then just stood for an entire halftime show. You talk about like a elementary school performance. Like, what'd you play? I played a bush.
Yeah, so I can't say too much, truthfully. Well, I can't say anything at the halftime, even on commercials. The truth is, I did go to my brother's for like the first quarter. I mean, this is what happens when you have 2 little kids, and then I had to leave, and then got home, and basically I was watching on my phone until halftime. As Brittany has the flu now, so it's literally mowed through our entire house, and I was like, great. So now I basically am stuck with putting both kids to bed, and I was like, well, I'm waiting till halftime. I can miss. Like, I'm not missing the game. I can miss halftime. But where was I even going with this? No, my point was, even at halftime, right, I still felt I didn't have too much confidence in the Patriots, but I felt, I mean, I'm sure you've felt the same way. It's like, you get 1 touchdown, you're right in this.
Right.
Like, even when they were down 19-7, you're like, oh, anything can, again, if a turnover happens. And to their credit, especially Sam Darnold, they didn't turn the ball over. I don't know if you saw what he said. Look, Sam Darnold, also to his credit, the first thing he said when they interviewed him after the game, the first thing he said was he gave credit to the defense. Like, he knows he's not stupid.
It was
First
teammates. Did thanking my teammates hit?
Well, he wasn't the MVP.
Oh, right.
Kenneth Walker gave the
Thank
old
God.
God. He did the God. But here's what's interesting. Here's what's interesting about the last 2 quarterbacks who won Super Bowls. Both of them instantly thanked their defense. They did. Jalen Hurts did. I remember watching last year. He's thanking his defense, and it's like both those defenses won those games, which is an interesting discussion. I started reading just how they built their team more today.
I wonder if Eagles fans think we have to start talking about Sam Darnold as an elite quarterback in the NFL, top 5.
Well, again, I know you want to take digs at Jalen Hurts. He won the MVP last year.
Okay, I'm just asking if Philadelphia Eagles fans think that we have to have a conversation about Sam Darnold being a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I don't think a lot of Eagles fans think Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback.
You have not met Eagles fans.
Okay, well, maybe not, but again, look at the last 2 champs, right? I mean, dominated. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs got dominated last year. Drake May and the Patriots get dominated. Like, building your team around a strong defense. And also, all 4 teams the last 2 years, top 5 in points per game allowed, right? So it's like defense gets you there, which I have to take a quick dig at the Cowboys quickly because I saw they're going to franchise tag George Pickens. And then reading the article, Jerry Jones was like, we want a long-term deal. And I just laugh. And I said, you don't care. Like, you're Jerry Jones. I've said this forever. You're Mike Brown of the Bengals with money. You're gonna follow the Bengals model and pay 2 wide receivers, pay a quarterback. When we see this league And that's kind of what this article in Athletic was saying today. It was like, look, man, we see the blueprint for this with defenses, with GMs that will get aggressive during the trades, making a Sam Darnold move, whatever it is. It's like,
here's something that happens.
It works.
It happens in the league a lot. The Cowboys are a great example of it for going on 10 years now. But it happened. Your team or not team is an example, and I think your team is stupidly an example, more so than the Cowboys, in that Jerry Jones is doing that. He's throwing good money at bad money, in that he's trying to justify a deal he already did in paying Dak Prescott by paying weapons to make Dak Prescott seem like he's great. When you don't have to justify paying a quarterback in the NFL these days $50 million if they're worth it and they're good and they're whatever. Now,
lost you.
Am I back?
Yeah, your mic's not connected though. I'll let Perno get you there. I lost you. Okay, gotcha.
What I was going to say is, the league, we've kind of been on this quarterback rookie deal conversation for a while now. I mean, the question is, do we start the conversation about, like, is the era of the big three in the NBA over and now you need like a complete team? Like, now the question is, have these quarterback conversations gotten so out of control that, like, you don't want to pay any of them $60 million a year, because look what you can do if that money's spread around, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think we're getting ahead of ourselves there, because I think the quarterback is obviously such an important position in the NFL. And I don't think that you can count on having, like, saying, hey, we're going to have the number one defense in football.
Sure.
Only 3 teams can have top 3 defenses. You know what I mean? But one thing is for sure. If you have a Jalen Hurts, if you have a Josh Allen, not a Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a terrible example. If you have a Josh Allen, if you have a Patrick Mahomes, if you have a guy that's undoubtedly, an elite quarterback, the answer isn't then, and this is what the Cowboys have done, this is what your Bengals have done. The answer isn't then also double down on your offense to justify the paying that quarterback so your offense is good. Because as everybody, like, how long have we been saying defense wins championships for?
Ever. And realistically, across sports, like that adage doesn't just apply to football. It's, I mean, look, you're already kind of looking ahead, giving a sneak peek earlier in the show about the Seahawks defense and what they could become. Again, like, the only team to really show that they could just put up points was the Rams.
Which is a little bit why I say, you said you disagree with this being a fraudulent Super Bowl appearance by the Patriots. But I'd argue you could say, and this again goes back to the sort of an 80s, 90s Super Bowl feel. Does it feel like the Super Bowl would have been better if it had been Seahawks Rams, if it had been Seahawks Bears, if it had been Seahawks? Like, how many different teams are there that could have been in there that you think would have given the Seahawks a better game in the Super Bowl?
To me, there's not like well, you just use 2 NFC teams, so you got to cross them out. So
no, but my point is, this why I said it's like an 80s, 90s Super Bowl where you get the Chargers into the Super Bowl, and it's like, yeah, but the Super Bowl was the NFC Championship game against the Cowboys.
Well, look, I know a lot of people were saying the Super Bowl is the NFC Championship game this year. They were saying it's winner of this.
I mean, listen, I said this, the NFC Championship game was Rams Bears, obviously completely and totally wrong about that, but I think that's 3 teams right there that have a better game in the Super Bowl. How far down a list does a Super Bowl team have to go?
But again, let's look at the AFC. I don't think the Rams game, truthfully, or I'm sorry, the Rams would for sure, because we've already seen the 3 matches they played. I don't know if a Bears game is that much different. Let's look at the AFC though. Like, are we then playing the game of, okay, let's look at a Broncos team with a healthy Bo Nix? Are we starting to play that? You know, then
You start playing the Broncos Bills game. Was the winner of the Broncos Bills game on really a better? Were both of those teams better than the Patriots? I don't know. Listen, Bo Nix is Bo Nix. I know we joke about Bo Nix a lot, but he's an unknown in the way that Drake May was an unknown. Cool season, good story, second-year player. You know, a lot of these guys, what do they do when the big moment's there? You know, and that's why you question the Seahawks legitimacy going into it, because you're like, Sam Darnold's a bit of an unknown. We've never seen Sam Darnold this far in the playoffs, and playoff appearances we have seen him haven't been great. So, you know, when you want to talk about what Bo Nix would have done in the Super Bowl against this Seahawks defense, it's hard to say anybody who's going to be worse than Drake May was, but I can't go in with like shoving all my chips into Bo Nix as a second-year quarterback who has looked bad at times. You know, their offenses struggled at times, would have been great, but like Josh Allen would have gotten shut out for 3 quarters.
No, I don't think Josh Allen would have got shut out for 3 quarters. I for sure think that is probably a better game. I guess my point is, I struggle with, it's like, okay,
if you listen, you tell me the LA Chargers get there and Herbert shut out for 3 quarters. I'm like, yeah, maybe, probably, okay.
He still got that MVP vote though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I guess it's tough for me to take away from you got there. The other instances in history, I would have to look. Like I don't remember who at the time we're at, the San Diego Chargers got through to play that Niners team. Was it the Steelers? Was it the Colts? Like I can't remember some of those other squads. To me, it doesn't really matter, just because the Seahawks just dominated, right? Like it's about the Seahawks. They dominated.
Totally. But the internet these days loves to get on somebody likes to start a little bug and, you know, drop a hook in the water and see what any fish. Like there was a storyline of most fraudulent path to the Super Bowl in however long. You know, they had 2 snow games at home. They played a backup quarterback. And it's like, if you were on that train, hard to say that the game did not justify that thesis statement.
Yeah. I mean, again, I guess my thing is like, you get there. You have to play who you have to play. Winning.
Yeah, I agree with you, but
I just think winning is not easy in the NFL. Hence the term "any given Sunday," and it's not easy. But again, I think, to me, the narrative, like, I don't know what the future is with the Patriots. I think Drake May obviously had an awful game. Hopefully, he learns from this. You know, it is year 2, but at the same token, we both know it's not easy to get back. Like we were talking about this yesterday at the party, and I was like, you remember how many Bengals fans were like, "Oh, Burrow's gonna be here"? I was like, Burrow hasn't made the playoffs in 3 straight years. I was like, you have to win when you're there, and when you're that close, especially like that game. I said, I don't know what the future is for Drake May and the Patriots. They got a first place. You know, that whole schedule gets a lot tougher next year. First place schedule. You're still in the same division as the Bills. Mahomes is going to be back. So look, I don't know what their future is. I just know they do have a pretty solid team around him, though, too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
And
they have a great coach.
So I don't know. The the Seahawks, like you said though, have been positioning themselves for a nice little run now.
It feels. Listen, we remember my Warriors prediction all the way back in the day, and the Warriors won that championship, and it was a down and dirty championship a little bit against that LeBron team that was hurt, and he probably should have won MVP and carried it to being a, somewhat interesting series. But they won that championship, and they came off of that, and they set the record for wins. And that feels like what next year's Seahawks can be. Now, it's a totally different game from basketball. And don't forget that the Warriors did not win that championship. So, but it feels like, to me, because I watched this defense all year, and I was like, obviously, they have a defensive-minded young coach, and they immediately have a great defense. They did something this year that you can go back. Like, my thing isn't taking L's on this show. I did not believe in this. Everybody believed in the Seahawks team, or a lot of people believe. Hard to say everybody, because everybody also believed in the Cardinals somehow in this division. But a lot of people were high on, I should say, the Seahawks. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves here. I understand you're going to try to build a defense. It got built fast. And I think that when you watch this team the whole year and you go, damn, that's a good defense. But like I said earlier, no one thought it was the 85 Bears. And then you go into the Super Bowl, and they actually did what the 85 Bears did, which was shellac a New England Patriots team. And I think that this could be, I think that, you have the ability to add a couple pieces in the offseason, and then add in the draft, and do it with confidence, and bring guys in who you can't, if you get brought into this defense, there's no way not to buy in. And I think you have a window here where this defense could be what those defenses were in the next year or two.
Well, what's amazing about this,
maybe not what those teams were, because the NFL offense is the way they are, but a modern day version.
They made. Let's look at the Seahawks moves the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. They unload Russell Wilson.
Pretty much started the turnaround.
They get all this capital. They start drafting some of these guys. Pete Carroll's gone. They go with a young, up-and-coming, defensive-minded guy in McDonald, who's very highly touted, right? They go in on Darnold. I'm saying, like, they really hit on all these moves. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they made the playoffs last year, right? I think they were 9-8. I believe they were 9-8 in his first year. But, like, my point is, they have hit on all their moves. They get rid of DK Metcalf. I'm just saying, like, they make all these moves. They draft the right guys. And here they are in a tough division too, right? Like in a division with the Rams, in a division with the Niners.
And they have a blueprint, which is don't give Sam Darnold the Russell Wilson mega extension that takes your top 5 defense and is the reason that they have to be torn apart.
But that blueprint, that blueprint can really be applied to all the teams at this point. Again.
But the one thing that we have to say about the Seahawks team, which was something that came up when they made the Super Bowl. This GM is the first guy to make a Super Bowl with the same team twice with no one on the roster from the last time they were there. And first of all,
wow.
obviously a great GM.
John Schneider,
obviously a great GM. But he is the one that did. He is the one that, like, he's not going to make that mistake again. And obviously, Sam Darnold has had a completely different career than Russell Wilson. You can't say, oh, what has he done wrong? How can we not pay him? How can we not make him a top 2 paid quarterback in the league or whatever? But he's already on a deal. And more importantly, I think you're not going to get fooled twice. You're not going to go, Sam Darnold, he won us the Super Bowl. We have to give him $60 million.
No, they won't do that. I mean, it's not. There's no way. And again, it's not like again, Sam Darnold had a turnover-free playoffs, but it's not like he lit it up numbers-wise. He made the plays. The difference is he made the plays when he had to, and he didn't turn the ball over. And that's been the difference between him and someone like Drake May in this playoffs. It's like Drake May kept turning the damn ball over. Drake May just kept getting sacked. Drake May couldn't escape the pocket. Now, his own line wasn't doing him any favors, but still. I felt watching the game, I felt like this moment is too big for Drake May right now. That's how I felt. I'm not even talking with pressure. I'm talking about like and Collinsworth, was talking about, it's like he's rushing. He's throwing sometimes too quickly where it's like, just give it another half second.
Ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the irony is like you're playing like Sam Darnold on the Jets. When you have the capability.
Listen, the Seahawks defense played fantastic.
Great.
But you said it early in the show. There was a lot of moments in that game where you're like, it's a game if you get a touchdown here. Because the Seahawks weren't. This is a game. You just one guy comes free and you get a fluke 75-yarder. It's 9-7.
Yeah, it's a game.
It's 12-7. It's whatever. And he had those opportunities.
He did.
And he missed it. He missed a lot. He missed a number of them.
So that's what I'm saying. It felt like the moment was too big for him.
Right.
And I know everybody and I know you alluded to it, and everybody is having this conversation. The Drake May, Matt Stafford, but it is true. The guys, it is true. I'm sorry, like Matt Stafford was in a shootout with the Seahawks on the road in Seattle against a team that arguably has top 3 or the best fan base as far as crowd noise. Like they
and
get
Matt
turned.
Stafford's a 14-year vet or whatever, and
For sure,
is a great. And Drake May's in year 2 and has legitimately 0 playoff experience prior to this year. So like, I'll give Drake May some a little bit of a pass, but it goes back to, again, the way people approach these things and the rewriting of history and the rear view and the whatever, which is, where are those like lucky plays some other great quarterbacks have gotten in the Super Bowl? He just didn't hit on any of them.
I wonder how the NFL feels. We've had back-to-back not close Super Bowls when we had such a competitive season and postseason. And I see a lot of people didn't like the game. They were bored or whatever. Now, would I have wanted to see it closer? Yeah.
I didn't. Listen.
But the Seahawks dominance, it was a thing of beauty to watch as well. A defense play that well.
I didn't hate the game as much as a lot of other people.
I agree.
Like, I don't think anybody was like, it's like when somebody comes out of, I don't know, Uncut Gems or whatever. Did you ever end up seeing that movie?
I did.
Okay. Like, I thought it was a great movie. Some people hated it, right? But I don't think anybody came out of it saying it was a rollicking good time. Like, there was no part of the Super Bowl yesterday like, man, that was a fun Super Bowl. But it would, because of the defense from both sides, you were like, this is still in question. until pretty late in the game. Now, there was a part of me that was like, yeah, but it's not in question if the Patriots don't score a single point. So, when it got to 12, I was like, this game's probably over, because there's no sign that if the Seahawks just went into sit on the ball mode, that the Patriots are going to randomly score 2 touchdowns. Now, they did in the end because the game got essentially out of hand, but it was still, the whole game was just like, can they make one play? And that's all we're really looking for in the end, is a Super Bowl that comes down to the few final minutes.
Yeah, and obviously the game changed the minute the scoop and score.
Yeah.
Right, like the game ended there, basically. Yeah, look, it wasn't like the most enjoyable. It also wasn't the worst. I mean, look, Super Bowl, you never know what you're
It was
gonna
more
get.
exciting than last year's game, I would say.
Yeah, last year's game was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
I agree. I think for both teams, though, the future's still bright for the Patriots with their coach and their young QB. And again, maybe he's got to take some lumps. I mean, John Elway lost 3.
Right.
Guy's ass kicked in 3.
And I've been diving deep on those Broncos teams this week because I've been getting into it with the Terrell Davis and Roger Craig defenders after throwing out a fun fact. Frank Gore has more career rushing yards than Terrell Davis and Roger Craig combined.
How many years did Terrell Davis play?
6 or 7. 7 years.
Okay.
And here's the thing.
He was great.
Right, Terrell Davis absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
But so does Frank Gore.
Yeah.
And Frank Gore rushed the ball over 300 times once in his career, year 2. He finished with 1,600 plus yards. He averaged 5.3 yards a carry. That's higher than Terrell Davis ever averaged per carry in his whole career. Terrell Davis ran the ball over 300 and closer to 400 times 3 years in a row in the NFL and then fell off a cliff. Like, miss me with like the whole a career cut short of injuries. It was a career cut short because they ran him into the ground. And they ran him into the ground because they were going to do, they would have literally taken him outside, put a gun into his mouth and blown his fucking head, braces and all off, to get John Elway the Super Bowl that they thought he deserved.
Yeah. Do you think, speaking of the Broncos, do you see any similarities with this Seahawks team and that Broncos 2015 team where Peyton didn't do anything in the playoffs? He got benched that year for Brock Osweiler. He wins his, he goes out on top, wins the Super Bowl. The MVP goes to Von Miller. Do you see any similarities with like that type of defense?
Yeah, absolutely. The game was played in the same stadium.
I was just going to say, played in the same stadium.
Yeah. Obviously the huge difference between, if you were talking about storylines, Sam Darnold wasn't one of the great quarterbacks in NFL history, and now having to throw left-handed because of a spinal injury. He's a guy who was, tossed on the trash heap. So I think the thing that you have to think about, and I know these things, like when you look back on them or whatever, but in context, you could almost trust Peyton Manning to be like, I'm going to go into the Super Bowl, and my job is not to fucking turn the ball over. And being like, if Peyton Manning has, through his career, he had so many different things he was able to accomplish. If you were like, this is what you have to accomplish, don't fucking turn the ball over. Let the defense win us this game. I think everybody in the world had more confidence in Peyton Manning doing that than in Sam Darnold doing that, even though Peyton Manning turned the ball over a lot that year, and Sam Darnold didn't turn over the ball once in the playoffs.
Yeah. Peyton
But
actually.
listen, again, I don't think you can give enough credit to Sam Darnold because he obviously was such a highly touted prospect. He didn't quite get the Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, Andrew Luck hype, but he got a lot of hype, and he got it for a number of years at SC. Like the year before he came out, they were like, "Oh, he'd be the number 1 overall." And then his draft stock kind of slid in his last year at USC, but he was still obviously a very highly touted and highly drafted quarterback. We don't see in sports a lot. Guys come in, have high expectations, fail, and recover from it in a way that they achieve at the highest level and do it the way he did with, like, you don't often see guys rewrite their entire story. And Sam Darnold's entire story was turnover prone bust. Turnover prone bust to no turnovers in the playoffs, Super Bowl champion. Like, listen, he's a ginger, but we got to throw him some credit. That's a pretty remarkable thing. It doesn't happen in sports a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's a wonderful story, the arc of Sam Darnold, and he's still very young. He was a young guy.
Younger than Bo Nix, right?
He's probably not younger than Bo Nix. I mean, Bo Nix is taking strays. He's 28.
She's not that much older than Bo Nix.
No, I mean they're a few years apart. I mean, it's crazy. The first, I mean, that stat, I'm sure you knew it, and they said it last night. Like the first USC quarterback to start a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
With the history of that program, it's insane to think there hasn't been an SC quarterback that started a Super Bowl, and it's Sam Darnold. And again, I mean, we go back to it. Same draft class as Josh Allen. Same draft class as Baker Mayfield.
As Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. And to his credit, he was on a great D. So was Lamar Jackson. So was Josh Allen. They've all been on number 1 ranked Ds.
Yeah.
But he did what he, I think by far his best game, obviously, this playoffs was against the Rams. And I think he really, really showed up that game. And again, last night, he was close, but he didn't do it. I think it's going to be real interesting heading into the offseason as far as the future of the league, to be honest, because it's like we're now at this post Chiefs, what's happening, right? Like we're out of this dynasty. You got an emerging defense from the Seahawks. You have a young guy in Drake May. Again, you have Patrick Mahomes coming back. You have another year, it looks like, of Stafford and the Rams, and it looks like
you got Jackson Dart with that. Scattaboo and Neighbors returning. John Harbaugh is his coach.
Yes, you have your Giants. I already have a bet out on that they will make the playoffs. So
let's fucking go. Ruth or curse me. Thanks, buddy.
Hopefully they do.
Although your division winners and playoff bets
have been more safe.
Have been more safe than the bold predictions of. Say right now that they're going to make the playoffs, but they're absolutely under no circumstances winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I have the playoffs. I've already made my first Bengals bet for next year. My buddy wants to just run it back. I'm winning the division. I'm like, sure, let's do it. I don't even. This is like weeks ago. By the way, Justin, I will start accruing interest on the bet. I know you've been hitting the gym hard there, my guy. But I do.
It looks like you might have to work out at the Venice Beach free gym for a month.
Do that Andy Ruther little beach workout, man.
I'm gonna close the blinds behind me because I got a little Barbara Walters going on here.
Yeah, do some push-ups there on the beach, Justin. But what I was saying earlier is I think it is interesting as we head into this again post like Chiefs kind of dynasty. And this is where teams they can really make their mark for the next season. It's the off season. And the good teams and the good GMs and the teams that want to win not only are going to draft well, they're going to make the necessary trades. They're going to use the money wisely because we all know it's salary cap, but it's almost like this fluid system where if you make the right moves and you stretch it, you can be competitive. And that's where an organization like the Seahawks or the Patriots or the Rams or, you start naming the Eagles, I think that's why they continue to be competitive and have success. And conversely, why a team like a Bengals or a Cowboys, it's like you don't do that and you're not going to compete for Super Bowls. I haven't pulled up the odds. I'm actually going to pull up now as we're talking about this. Odds for the 2027 Super Bowl. Just out of curiosity.
Just out of curiosity.
No surprise. Seahawks are up top.
Wow.
Real close. Seahawks plus 750, Rams plus 800, Ravens plus 1200, along with the Bills. Packers and Chargers up there too. Is the Eagles, Lions, Chiefs.
Where are the Chiefs at?
Plus 1600.
Fucking go. I'm betting that today. Plus 16 to 1. Is that we're going to get 16 to 1?
Yeah, looks like it. I want to explore a new a new possible theory that I have with quarterbacks. I'm not going to do it now. I mean, it would take too much time. Maybe I'll present it for future episodes. I'd like to look into QBs that are married.
Okay.
Who win Super Bowls, or QBs that are in a steady, stable relationship. I have a hunch.
Well, we might have a causation versus correlation theory here, right? Like we've talked a lot in the last couple of weeks about quarterbacks and coaches and the first 5 years together, and how soon after getting hired a coach wins a Super Bowl and whatever. It's like the rookie QB deal. I'd love to ChatGPT can tell you this right now. What's the average age in America that a man gets married, and what's the average age of the Super Bowl winning quarterback? What's lower? Average married age is probably lower, but also there's teen dads out there, and but I think Super Bowl winning quarterbacks tend to be pretty young.
Yeah. All right. The median, well, let's look at just the average age. The average median age for a man to get married in the United States is actually older than I thought. It's 30 and a half. Women's a little younger. It's 28.6.
Yeah.
Okay. Average age of man, or average age of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I believe it probably will be young.
I mean, you got some old guys that come in there, and you got some 30s that win, but
ChatGPT struggles with sports questions, I've noticed. Here we go. See exactly. I tried to run a live web search for you, but this chat doesn't currently have browsing enabled. So that's something I got to change?
maybe just try Google.
Well, no, they actually gave it to me. The average age of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. This is from Super Bowl 1 through, I don't know if it goes through last year, is 31.
Interesting.
Most fall between the age range of 27 to 34.
There you go.
Ben Roethlisberger, the youngest at 23. Tom Brady, the oldest at 43.
I mean, fucking. First of all, let's also just like, can we take some? You want to talk about taking outliers out? Let's take Tom Brady's outlier 43 out of there, this motherfucker.
That's insane.
But anyway, my point is, it's almost the exact same number. I mean, that's a good Joe Prano on the fly theory right there.
Okay, let's go by decade. This is kind of interesting. 90s, the average age was 31. 2000s, 32. That makes sense. 2010s, 33. You got a lot of older guys winning then. Brady, Manning, Breeze. 2020s. So just the last few years. It's actually 30. Because, you do have Mahomes winning a bunch of those. You have Stafford. So it's probably around.
And you have the fucking Brady outlier. You have the 40. We have 6 years of the 20s, and one of them is a 43-year-old.
I wonder if Brady puts up more points yesterday than Drake May. There's an interesting theory.
I mean, you remember the famous...
He's not mobile.
You remember the famous Tom Brady quote? Does Plax play defense? We're going to score 14 points? Does Plax play defense?
Here's what's crazy about a game like yesterday. There is, and I'm not saying this will happen, there is a possibility that this is just like detrimental to Drake May. There really is. Like when you eat, he ate shit. Let's call it what it is. He ate shit for 3.5 hours.
Well, listen, it's definitely detrimental to his legacy, like I talked about. You have to win 2 Super Bowls now just to have a above 500 record in the Super Bowl. I mean, in the hot take social media sports era, like, bro, you're 2 more appearances away from getting over 500. And if you're not over 500, you're just kind of a bum.
I don't think that holds up with NFL. I don't think that the NFL argument is as prevalent as you see in the NBA.
Yeah, right. It is weird that no one ever goes John Elway.
I would say nobody brings up Elway because he's 2 and 3.
Let's be honest. It's not really an actual hot take. It's just a LeBron hating thing.
Okay, here's a question as we head into next year. And taking consideration like an injury like a Mahomes, top 5 QBs that you have.
Stafford just won the Super Bowl, or the MVP. I'll go Stafford.
You're putting Stafford at 1.
No, I'm giving you 5.
Okay.
I'm not ranking them.
Okay.
Stafford. I mean, is it too early for me to say Stafford, Caleb Williams?
You say whatever you want.
Mahomes would still be in there for me. I'll take a crippled Mahomes over most quarterbacks in the NFL. So that's 3 right there. Josh Allen is 4. And I mean, I'm tempted to put your boy in there, Joe Burrow, but
I'm out on Burrow, by the way.
We've lost Burrow. The Burrow train has lost Ruther. Is there anybody driving the Burrow train? Is there an engineer? Ruther just went full fucking Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. He just drove a motorcycle off a train.
Maybe I'm gonna
let you pontificate on this and tell everybody. I can't wait to check back in. I just got to plug in my computer before I lose the charge.
I don't know if I'm out on Burrow. I don't think he cares enough about football. Truthfully, I don't. And this leads me to my Andy Ruther theory of settling down as a quarterback. I think it helps. But I'm not one of these pushers of you got to get married. We all know I'm not married. I got 2 kids. This isn't like a moral thing. taking a stance on people having to get married, because I just don't feel that way. I think it's a personal choice, and that's what people want to do. I just think it brings more stability for some of these quarterbacks, truthfully. But take that aside, I don't know. I see, because I live in Cincinnati, obviously, so stuff is always in the news, and Burrow's always. I think the more I see him in his fashion and his hair's always changing, it's kind of the same theory that have or stance I've taken on guys off the field of be a partier, be a Gronk, be a drunk, be a dude who lets loose. You got to perform in the field. You got to win. You got to win. And my theory on Burrow at this point is like he's a wannabe Tom Brady, but you ain't Brady because you ain't winning. That's my thing at this point. It's like you want to change your hairstyle. Brady did that a million times. You want to do this. It's like Brady was winning. He was fucking winning. And that's why I posed the question to Prano. I was like, your top 5 QBs, and he said Stafford, Mahomes, Caleb Williams, Josh Allen, and we bring up Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow, there's a good chance he's still in my top 5. But I also struggle with a guy who's missed 20 games. Right? You've played 6 years in the NFL. You've missed a full season. And that's kind of part of the reason where I'm like kind of out on Burrow. He's at all these Super Bowl parties. And again, I know people are going to say, well, all these guys do it. Yeah, but he's the quarterback. I don't know. He's just, he cares too much about all that other stuff, in my opinion. And some of even his comments about football. And it's like, I don't know how much he ultimately cares and makes it his life about winning. I think there's so much brand shit going on there. This is just my take. I could be completely wrong.
So
that's why I bring. 5. What's up?
He's out of your top 5.
I'm not even saying that. I'm not going to argue with you on the guys you put on there. Burrow would maybe be 5th. I don't know who else, but again, my caveat of all those things I've said, and again, missing all these games, like Bengals fans get so annoyed when I say this, but it's so true. I really struggle that stat just, it looms above my head. They always want to go 5-2 in the playoffs, 5-2 in the playoffs. And to me, I kick that right down and I go, you've never had a 4th quarter touchdown drive. You're 5-2 because guess what? You had good defense in both those playoff runs. Like, you talk about QBs not making plays when they had to. That's my thing. Is like, dude, you had a defense, and to me, you've never acknowledged it. That's maybe why I struggle. It's like, you guys have such hard-ons for your offenses. And stop touching your hair.
I mean, listen, I was never the guy who was on the, like, people be like, Mahomes, Josh Allen, 1A, 1B, Burrow right there. I was never that guy, but like, I don't know. It's gonna be hard. It would be hard for me to argue that a guy played in a Super Bowl. Now, trust me, elite weapons on his side and elite stats when he's on the field and whatever. But like, Jordan Love also struggles with injuries, and he hasn't played in a Super Bowl. And like, Dak's not in my conversation, and Trevor Lawrence, nice little year, but whatever. Drake May, I mean,
no,
nice
Burrow,
little year.
You're right. Burrow would be my top 5. He would be my top 5. But my point is, I just don't like. Maybe I'm completely off base here, but my point of asking about QB settling down was just this. Like, I think Burrow cares too much about. He's enjoying this whole. I'm in this world now with the Fanatics guy. What is his name? Ruben. I'm enjoying these parties so much. And my argument is Brady you're a wannabe Brady with the fashion and the hair and this, but Brady was winning. That's all I'm saying. You've made the playoffs in 3 straight years. You're missing half a season. Like that's
defense
all
wins championships, and he was the one that said, "Pay all my guys."
in that you said pay all my guys. We've now seen this blueprint 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. And not just, you know this, not just 2 years in a row. They listed, I wish I had it. Maybe I can pull it up. I thought it was really interesting. They had the playoff runs. Oh, I gotta find this. I thought it was really interesting. Maybe was it on The Athletic? But they listed the worst and it was an advanced matrix or metrics. But it was like the worst performing quarterback playoff runs, Prano, in NFL history.
And Drake May was right there.
Drake May was number one.
Yeah.
But again, Burrow was in the top 10 on the Super Bowl run. And by the way, I don't think Burrow had a bet. Like the point was like, you're making the top 10 because you're not doing much. You're having a Sam Darnold, like
crazy that in 1 year, you talk about worst postseason performances ever. And the only competition Drake May has is Kid Rock lip syncing on YouTube. I mean, you want to talk about something you never see, like 2026 postseason. The EPA, the only people running away with it are Kid Rock lip syncing Bawa Daba and jorts, and Drake May turning the ball over 6 times a game.
I have not seen that as well. Oh, I gotta find this. Anyway, I don't know where it is, but anyway, I thought it was interesting. It was just basically saying like the Drake May one has been all time bad, but there were some QBs on there which I was like, again, oh, interesting guys who have ridden the backs of their defense.
And this is a list of all time.
All time, but my point is this:
so Eli with 2 carried by his defense.
He wasn't on it.
Carried by his defense twice, not on it.
He wasn't on it.
The year he set the postseason record for passing yards, he wasn't.
God, where is this?
CPA wasn't a little high.
Where did I see this? I don't freaking know, dude.
I saw that too, though. I know what you're talking about.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty cool stat that just showed you like Drake May is riding the defense to the Super Bowl. Right? He's riding the Patriots defense. And conversely, like again, Sam Darnold, especially in that Rams game, he made like he won in a shootout. You got to give him credit.
You got to give Sam Darnold credit. I mean, with the performance he put up in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, I'm predicting it. I think Andy Ruther spells his name right this week. I think you've officially learned Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has put himself on the Andy Ruther map. He's like, it is Sam Darnold, and you will remember that.
What did I accidentally put last week?
Sam Darnold, which is hilarious. I didn't catch it actually. My mom was like, "You spelled Sam Darnold wrong in your title." I was like, "My mom coming in from the top rope and checking in on the Dirty Sports Podcast via Substack." Shout out to Ann for being a Substack subscriber. You too should be a Substack subscriber if you're listening.
Good catch by Ann. This is going to haunt me the whole show, not finding this, but that's okay. Anyway, the point is you need a good defense. Like you don't need the 85 Bears. You pretty much need a top 5 points allowed defense. Or to go on a run. I mean, your Giants the D did go on a nice run.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need a top 5 defense, or you need this 25th ranked defense in Eli Manning.
Or you just need a defense that gets hot, gets turnovers. Right? That's like an opportunistic defense. That's why when you brought up the Bears in my head, I was like if it was like a Bears Seahawks in my head, I was like, is the Bears D? They were more of like opportunistic with getting turnovers this year.
For sure. And listen, no doubt about it. That was not what I was simply pointing out the idea of
The
like
offense.
what teams could have they got shut out for 3 quarters, man. They got shut out for 3 quarters. We just watched a team punt for 75% of a Super Bowl. It was crazy. You can talk about Super Bowl defenses and what teams were able to do throughout the course of the year, and we've rattled off a list of Super Bowl defenses that were great. The 2000 Ravens and the 85 and the Legion of Boom and whatever. This performance in this game, they essentially shut the Patriots out. I mean, the game, they
did.
The scores were not. The game was over before they started scoring.
Yeah.
Not only that, but doing it where their defense is on the field a lot too, because the offense wasn't putting up that many points. I mean, after the first drive where they drove down and they got the first field goal, it was a bit before the Seahawks moved the ball again. Which also, I got to say, first play of the Super Bowl, I was concerned as somebody who was rooting for the Seahawks. Very first play of the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold kneels down in the huddle, pulls open his wristband play sheet. I'm like, we don't know what the first play of the Super Bowl is? I was concerned.
I mean, they got points that first drive. They drove right down.
I know they did. But in retrospect, maybe they were like, listen, you're Sam Darnold. This is any other game. Go to your play sheet. Make sure you get it right. Say it right. Don't turn the ball over. Don't whatever. But I mean, how many they've been running the first drive of the Super Bowl for 2 weeks, right?
You would think. Field looked nice, I'll tell you that much. A lot of talk about whatever the cell towers or whatever's going on over there.
I'll say something. We were talking about where we want to. We were talking about stadiums, and we were talking about the Rose Bowl and places we'd like to play, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to leave it at this as number one. The number one most important thing: the Super Bowl should be played on grass. I think the Super Bowl should be a grass game. Well, that'll never happen with consistency.
And it never has with all the domes.
Right. It just feels better watching the Super Bowl on grass.
What's SoFi? It's back at SoFi next year.
It's fake grass. It's turf. It's inside.
Well, yeah, the next 3 are not. It's SoFi, Atlanta, Las Vegas. I agree. I think it's definitely more pleasing in the eye. I still can't believe they're doing a game in Australia next year. And I can't believe they're doing a Rams-Niners.
Is an Australia game like a week 1? Like, you can't be.
Bro, they're not doing a Falcons Saints. They're doing a Rams Niners game, man. Like 2 legit teams and rivals.
This guy's got a big cock, huh, mate? Is that his deal? He's got a big cock. How do they know that, Mike?
That deal is going to look bad, by the way. I think it already is.
The Brock Purdy deal?
Yeah. We're talking about these. What was the Niners' big problem this year? I know they got just decimated with injuries, but what was their major problem? It was the defense. Why did they get to those 2 previous Super Bowls under Jimmy G and Purdy? Their defense.
And not that he played better than Brock Purdy, but Mac Jones was serviceable.
Yeah. Mac Jones. Who?
I've been
Mm.
saying for the last 2 days because I've been watching some Olympics. I've just been saying Breezy Johnson. What a name, Breezy Johnson.
It's a good porn name too.
Breezy Johnson.
Let's keep it short today.
Okay. Now, Andy, you didn't watch the halftime show.
I have watched none of it, and the truth is, I do not believe. Can I be honest? Since I've had kids, I don't know. I don't really remember halftime shows.
Okay. Well, we are a sports show. This is it's a popular topic, so I feel like I want to weigh in, especially on my lock of the century, which is still pending, Andy. 10 dirt balls. Message me. 15 seconds of the halftime show. You just won your bet. Because they muted out a word. Why is my bet still pending? I don't know.
Yeah, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see a penny of that if it's still pending.
I just want to say this about the halftime show. Did I understand a word of it until he started his speech at the end about the countries in North America and South America? No, I didn't understand a word of it. Is Bad Bunny's music my music? Also no. Forget the let's just do one. I'm going to take it one step further. The performance itself, the performance was fine. I am not as far as Super Bowl halftime shows go, if you're not a band playing instruments and playing music, I kind of don't care because you're just singing to a track essentially. And I'm just a big pop music fan, but whatever. But the production and his performance within the production was something I had never seen before. It was incredible from a guy who's worked in television a lot and production and creating things. The production of a set and a story and him moving through the set and having things going on in the background and the foreground and him participating in, that was unlike anything I'd ever seen, tenfold. Shout out to whoever conceptualized that. Shout out to Bad Bunny for knowing where they must have rehearsed it for 8 weeks, him knowing where his camera was all the time and playing to the camera and whatever. From a production performance, it was nothing I'd ever seen. And so shout out to that. And obviously he's, throwing political messages in there and whatever, and he's got a lot to say. And I know that pisses off the people that supposedly didn't watch it and couldn't understand it and whatever. And I'm not going to get too into that. Obviously, I'm, as far as what, the people, as far as the political divide of it, I'm obviously on the side of just treating human beings like human beings. So whatever. But, from a production and a performance within that production, the best halftime show I've ever seen, without a doubt. Now, would I like to see that production and have fucking a band playing? Sure. But also a band, Bono and the Edge can't play a guitar and walk through a bodega and fall through the ceiling of a bodega. But
well, I'll be honest. And I guess this is a take. I couldn't have cared less ever about a Super Bowl halftime show ever. To be honest, guys, it does nothing for me. I don't know if that's weird. I'm a football guy. I want to watch the game.
But yeah,
but my point is at no point in time, even artists that I enjoy, have I just I don't know. I've never really cared. That's just the truth. I've never really, because it's so abbreviated. You're trying to condense so much in a short amount of time, right? So for me, it's just wait, so we're gonna try to pack all these songs, and there's gonna be cameos.
That's also, I mean, that comes with the pop music turn as well, because like I got to imagine if you go back to Bruce Springsteen or Tom Petty or U2 or whatever, they played 5 songs. Like I don't think they do the 11. Now that's how little I know about Bad Bunny. Was that all one song? Did he play 14 songs? I have no idea. I can't understand the words, the beats, whatever. Like it is what it is. But you want to talk about again? I've never listened to Bad Bunny on purpose. I have never listened to Katy Perry on purpose. I have never listened to Lady Gaga on purpose. So you're already coming into this going, the Super Bowl regularly picks artists I will never listen to. I won't listen to Bad Bunny on purpose tomorrow. I didn't listen to Bad Bunny on purpose yesterday. I've never listened to Katy Perry on purpose in my whole entire life. But Katy Perry had people dancing as sharks next to her. It looks like a high school, it looks like a summer camp performance compared to what yesterday was, which was a movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think if you put a live webcam on me reading Curious George to a 3-year-old during halftime, it'd be pretty interesting, guys.
You should have shown your kid halftime. There's a Curious George. There's a whole Curious George part. There's monkeys and trees, and you could have been like, you know how Curious George goes up trees? Bad Bunny's up a telephone pole.
I mean, that's why I asked the name Bad Bunny, because it does sound like something I would read in a kid's book. Like the character, like that's a Bad Bunny. That's a Bad Bunny. I didn't realize his Spotify. What did I see the other day? He has the most streams or downloads the last 4 years of any artist. I didn't realize his, his star power was
Right.
that.
Which I think was, again, what the whole, that's why they do it. They just try to get the biggest star that they possibly can.
100%. 100%. That's what it is. Now, I did, again, like I can't vouch for too many commercials either.
Nothing incredibly stand out to me.
I feel like that's kind of lost some of the.
I said during the game yesterday, I wonder if we went back to like the year 2000, just for example, how many companies do you think still exist? Because you're always going to have your Cokes and your Buds and your whatever, but like you always have like the 8 massive brands that do their massive thing, but then like love to go back and go, oh, remember when that was a thing?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of ones I remember, like throughout time. Next year, what? So next year, SoFi. Okay, so I'm just trying to play out like who they might, if that plays a role
in,
like who they book for a halftime performer.
Okay,
I don't know if that matters. Who was it last time? Was it SoFi? Was that Dre and Eminem and
yeah.
I don't know. I think the product is going to start declining just overall. That has no bearing on the halftime show, but
the Super Bowl as a product,
just the league, man. I am telling you, I hate the international stuff. I hate it.
Andy Ruther 4 years ago would be like, bro, shut up. NFL's a beast. And I think you're right. And I agree with you.
I just, again, like I just circle back to this Australia game of like, you're taking a Niners Rams.
You combine the international travel games, the Thursday games, the extra week that they're pushing for. I mean, again, you could argue this Super Bowl sucked because Drake May played Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship game. You could argue that.
It's fair. It's totally fair.
I mean, listen, injuries happen in football all the time, but like they're not going to happen less when we insist on building mega stadiums in every city so that we can get the Super Bowl and the Final Four, and you put down the shitty turf that no one prefers over grass, and you have Bad Bunny concerts on that turf and put down, things to cover it. And then the teams are not only playing on turf that no one loves, but they're playing on turf that's being a mixed use for other things. And then we're adding games and we're adding international travel, and you're playing inside of a power station. It's just like, I know the league loves next man up. The shield's bigger than the thing, but like we live in a world now where fans like love players. I'm here with, my friend and his young kids, and he's talking about Josh Allen, and he's got his cards, and he's blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not just watching your local stuff anymore. And so I think the league has to start thinking about protecting those players a little bit more.
They won't, though.
No, of course they won't.
And that's the thing. I mean, again, like I'm this is just my own opinion, and I'm one person, but it's like as the things I prioritize in my life change, and especially having kids, it's like you're saying, it's like I want to watch good games, man. And we did. To the credit, we had a lot of good games this year. We had a great postseason overall. Little anticlimactic to end this way, but like we definitely don't want to be watching Jarrett Stidham in an AFC Championship game. I don't know. My buddy's wife was wearing a Who Day sweatshirt yesterday, and I said, "Really?" So then we got in a huge argument. I was wearing this, and they're like, "You're wearing a Reds hoodie." I go, "Because it's comfy." I go. Like, she's like, "I don't even like the Bengals." I go, "I know you're not even from here." Like, she's like, "I had to have something football related." I said, "But you don't." I'm wearing a Reds hoodie. You don't. I was like, in my opinion, you wearing a Who Day hoodie and me wearing a Reds hoodie, you're more in the wrong here.
I mean, I honestly, you're not that you are a huge baseball fan, but like there's a part of wearing a Reds where it's like, hey, after this game's over, it's baseball season. As opposed to, hey, after this game's over, the Bengals have still been eliminated for 8.5 weeks.
Oh, we'll do calls next episode.
Okay, hold on 1 second. James, you got a Super Bowl hot take? Is he out here? Yeah. First, I tried to do that, and then
859-832-0478. It's a hotline.
I had my my friend's son here, and he was like, "Am I coming on the podcast to give hot takes?" I was like, "Yeah," but he's nowhere to be found, so I'll tell him he missed his window.
How old is he?
He is 9, 10.
He's a Josh Allen fan.
Big Josh Allen guy. Shocker. But he knows his stuff too. He knows his stuff. He was putting my feet to the fire on the ski lift yesterday. He made me draft skill position players on the offense if I was putting together a super fantasy roster. And I was like, tight end, who do I want to? I was like, I guess maybe I'd go. I was like, I know it's like kind of a prisoner of the moment thing, but maybe I go with the dude from the Cardinals. I mean, he did have a great season. He's like, you got to go Brock Bowers. And I was like, you're probably right. I was like, you're probably right. You probably do have to go Brock Bowers.
So Kubiak is now the Raiders coach.
That's right.
I'm sure that'll work out. That's nothing to get Kubiak. Like the Raiders are a dumpster, dude. They're just a dumpster. Like
probably should figure out how to get a quarterback. I'll tell you want the early, like the kid from Indiana. That ain't it, bro.
No,
Charlie Kirk Cousins.
No,
his career as a Raider will end worse than Charlie Kirk's career did, and Kirk Cousins' career. You want to talk about taking bad endings? That's Charlie. You're drafting Charlie Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Nothing about that guy. Well, how do you fucking Ned Flanders? Goddamn Ned Flanders at quarterback. Howdy ho, neighbor, but I speak Spanish. Dork.
They call me Good Buddy because I speak Spanish, but I'm a real nice guy.
I mean, yeah, I want that guy.
Welcome to
nowhere.
Las Vegas. Well, I'll never go to a casino because those things scare me. A lot of loose women are there. Mama told me.
I'm over the Raiders. I'm just like annoyed. Like, just stop sucking so much. Just be fun again. You were the Raiders. You were Bo Jackson.
Now you're a big Tom Brady fan. You don't have no faith in Brady to turn it all around.
I don't know if I do, because again, usually greats aren't good
Let me say this.
at being a general manager or whatever.
He's not a GM, but
I know he's not, but
yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Let me say this, because I think Tom Brady does know what he's talking about. He's obviously spread pretty thin with like calling games and whatever. But if they don't draft that kid, I'll feel way better. I'll be like, ooh, Tom Brady was like, that ain't it. That ain't it, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, let's get out of here.
JoeParano.com for shows. Got a bunch coming up. Check them out. Be in Cincinnati with Andy in his Reds sweatshirt, going to a Reds Mets game in June. It's on my website. Tickets are available. Tokyo, end of the month. Comedy Store the 22nd. Steamboat, Colorado. Lots of shows coming up. JoeParano.com for shows. That's all I got.
Word. All right, guys. Enjoy your week. We'll see you on Friday. And as always, stay dirty.